The Champions League, as you know it, is coming to an end. In the summer of 2024, the tournament will see a significant format change, with groups of 4 being replaced by a single league of 36 teams. And while this might feel new, this is merely the latest iteration of a change that has been underway for decades, a movement away from sporting jeopardy towards more security for bigger teams and bigger players. A movement which began all the way back in 1987 with one of the nastiest football games in history. The autumn of 1987, the Champions League was known simply as the European Cup. From round 1 onwards, it was a straight 2-legged knockout competition, with matches played at home and away. That season, Diego Maradona's Napoli were drawn against Real Madrid. In the first leg, played in the Bernabeu, punches were thrown. Napoli's Salvatore Bagni alleged that the Madrid players called him and his teammates mafiosi. The visitors' backup goalkeeper, Luciano Castellini, even threw an ice pack at Madrid coach Leo Beenhakker. He missed, but it still hit a photographer. Ultimately, Real won 2-0. Ahead of the second leg in Naples, rotten eggs were thrown at the coach carrying the Madrid squad as it left the airport. In front of a sellout crowd the following night, Napoli tried to stage a comeback, laying siege to Madrid's goal. When Napoli's Giovanni Francini opened to scoring on 9 minutes, the turnaround was within their grasp. But when Real Madrid's Emilio Butragueño scored an away goal, the tie was as good as done. Napoli were eliminated in the first round, just as they were in the UEFA Cup the previous year, when they were beaten by Toulouse. Now, to the mind of TV tycoon Silvio Berlusconi, by then the owner of AC Milan, the format was an historical anachronism. He believed that the risk of one of the best teams, and in this case the best player in the world, Maradona, exiting a European competition so early seriously diminished it as an attraction. And he would experience this feeling himself when, a month after Napoli had been dispatched, Espanyol knocked Arrigo Sacchi's Milan out 2-0 on aggregate in the second round of the UEFA Cup. The imponderable prevails in European competitions, Berlusconi told Italian newspaper Il Corriere della Sera, we must turn them into a continental league, with guarantees for the clubs in terms of management and revenues. Berlusconi also publicly believed that clubs of a certain level that draw big crowds and have revenues to match should compete with each other. He was also against the expansion of an 18-team Serie A, describing it as being against the interests of football. What mentality does a provincial side come to San Siro with, he asked out loud? The most they can hope for is to play for a 0-0. The language of 1988 echoes that of the 2021 Super League, and reminds us that Berlusconi was a visionary not only in populism and the use of TV and football as a political vehicle to create a voter base and winning brand. He recognized the business potential within football as well. Berlusconi came to the football industry from the entertainment world. The tycoon, nicknamed his emittance due to the number of satellite dishes that sprung up in Italy, took what had been a local TV network national, in part by buying up the rights to tournaments such as the Mundialito, a competition held on the 50th anniversary of Uruguay's first World Cup win that featured all of the past winners, apart from England, who declined the invitation. Berlusconi later turned an international affair into a club competition held in Milan on 3 occasions, which featured Italy's Big Three and an inconsistent mix of South America's finest, plus whoever had won the European Cup. In many respects, it foreshadowed the Club World Cup. Now, this regulation-bending endeavor was all preparation for breaking the monopoly of Italy's state broadcaster, RAI, and using live sport to start the pay TV revolution that made Serie A the head of the curve and filthy rich, helping fund the league's golden years through the 1990s and early mid-2000s. All of a sudden, Italian teams, including Berlusconi's, stopped going out in the first and second rounds and started winning UEFA competitions. But Milan lifting the European Cup in back-to-back seasons did not change Berlusconi's opinion that the spectacle could be better and more lucrative. Umberto Gandini, one of Milan's executives at the time, recalled in 1988 Berlusconi, who had a great relationship with Mendoza at Real Madrid, was already talking about a maxi competition. The working title was the European Television League. Advertising agency Saatchi & Saatchi was drafted in on the project, and when word of it got out, UEFA was forced into concessions to ensure the European Cup retained its status as the pinnacle of the club game on the continent. The Champions League in 1992-93 was the eventual consequence. The group stage concept was introduced, the competition was expanded, more games meant more money could be charged to broadcasters, and all of a sudden, finishing in the top 4 of domestic leagues began to become important. in part through Napoli, Real Madrid, and then watching his own team bow out early from merciless straight knockout competitions in the space of a month, Berlusconi imagined a game as it is today. Not to mention its place in the media, sport, and entertainment vertical.